Hi, my name is Rachel McLeod. I'm a licensed clinical social worker and an emotional wellness coach. And today I'm talking about 3 reasons why your emotional wounds turn you into a monster. And the reason why I'm talking about this today is because, you know, in our homes, we this is where we let our hair down a bit more, and this is where we are more of ourselves. And in our families, people get closer to us than any other place in the world. And I know some of y'all are acting like monsters. Let's just cut to the point, right? And I know this because you're telling me this. We get on calls and you're telling me this, and this is such a sore point of shame and suffering for you, is that that you're hurting your babies, and that you're saying mean things, and you don't even believe the mean things that you're saying, but you're absolutely saying them, or you're yelling all the time, and you don't even want to be yelling at the time all the time, and it can feel really confusing. And so I want to talk about this because I want you to understand what's going on and why this is happening, because some of you can feel like it's just you, or some of you can feel like this is just your life, this is just how you have to live, or you could feel like I'm bad, I'm a monster, and that is not what I want you to walk away with. That does not create great change. And I really want you to get to a point where you're just not going to live not one more day like this. But you have to see clearly where the problem is to create change. So we're going to take a little trip and I hope you see clearly what's going on here. So, you know, we all pick up emotional wounds. Many of us are, we come from childhoods where they're not super fantastic, right? Or we come from places where we just had bad things happen to us and they are wounding. Some of us are going through school and we're being bullied, and we get to be adults and we're like, yeah, we should be over that already. But we're not, right? And why we're not is because we get wounded along the way. We pick up these emotional wounds. And what's crazy about this whole thing is that we know that every year we find ourselves with all kinds of physical wounds, whether it's a cut here or a tear there, or your hangnails coming off. But we don't expect anything like that to happen to us emotionally, and we don't expect anything like that to happen to us mentally. But guess what? It is, and it has. And just like you have to treat these things, otherwise there's bigger problems, the same thing happens emotionally. And there are some major emotional wounds that can go on. Neglect, abuse, sexual abuse, physical abuse, mental abuse. There's bullying in schools. There's absolutely, you opened up somebody else's birthday present and you were mortified. That's an emotional wound that can really cause a lot of challenges there. Or I'm going to give a couple more examples. You're at school and you raise your hand, your shirt comes up and somebody sees your chub and you're mortified. That's emotional wounding. Your brain responds to this stuff as if it's been cut, as if there has been a wound. There's the first time you were rejected, the first time you realized that you weren't like the other girls, the first time, maybe you watched your mom cry one day and didn't understand what was going on. Like, I could go down the list. I mean, I do this work so much that it kind of all starts to blur together. And but I can assure you that there's not one of you that is not emotionally wounded. And why this can turn you into a monster is because it's painful. It's painful to be emotionally wounded. And a lot of our coping mechanisms and how we go about dealing with this is not to resolve the wounds or heal the wounds, but just to keep it going, keep moving. And so this wound doesn't heal, but you're still acting like it's fine, but it still hurts. And people are bumping into it all the time. If you were to break your leg, you would be like, don't bump it, don't bump it. You'd be worried all the time. But guess what? If you've got children or a husband or a spouse, and guess what? They're rubbing up all against your broken leg, And it's like emotionally it's the same way. Our families, our children, our husbands, we get a phone call, or we're on Facebook, and our emotional wounds are being touched up on and activated, and it hurts. And sometimes if you don't know what's happening, you don't even know what's happening. All of a sudden you're just irritable and you're snapping at the babies, and you're irritable and you're yelling at somebody, or you said something mean, or maybe you go into a blackout rage and you're going to yell at that person, and you're going to get that, you're trying to heal, you're trying to get that emotional energy from that wound that's throbbing, and you're trying to get it to stop, but it doesn't work that way. And so if you don't learn how to do some emotional wound CPR, you're not going to heal that wound. And so I really want you to hear that. That wound has to be healed. So when you're in there acting like a wounded bear and you're snapping at everybody, you know what? Guess what? Because you actually are a wounded mama bear. And so the sooner you can grab hold of that, the sooner you get out of wherever it is, the sooner you can gain your freedom, the sooner you can heal that back. You're not supposed to walk around with these emotional wounds. You're not supposed to be wounded. You're supposed to be healthy and vibrant. And let me tell you what, if you're like most of my clients and you have not been doing this work for a long time, there's a ton, right? And so we have to get in there and we have to heal and resolve those, and you can. The brain heals beautifully. The brain heals so fast. It's wonderful. It's so much easier than actual physical broken leg wounds. But that's a whole nother story, and you can watch some other videos about that. But I want you to understand that you're not going to be sweet and pleasant if you're wounded. You're not going to be nice and cuddly if you're a wounded mama bear. You're going to be rage. You got your claws out at all times. And I want you to put your claws back in, because I want you to feel warm and cuddly, and to be that mom, that woman that you know you are, that is gentle and loving and nurturing and kind. Not that you're going around, you're causing more pain, right? Because hurt people, right? And when you're doing that to your own children, gosh, it's just a dagger to the chest. It's so painful. And then you don't know where it's coming from. You don't know why it's here. You don't know why you're behaving like this. And there's so much shame that piles up, and you're just drowning in all this stuff. But really, it just has to do with you're wounded and you need some help. The second thing is that these emotional wounds are exhausting. Your brain is focused on them unconsciously, day and night, night and day, 24 hours a day. That is all it wants to think about. And it wants to think about that. How are we going to heal all the time. And every day you're going to want to focus on, how am I going to get the laundry done? How am I going to get these cupcakes over here? How am I going to present to this meeting? You want to focus on that stuff, right? I know, I feel you. But guess what? Your brain doesn't, because it's bleeding emotionally and it wants to solve that problem. And so every day you're having to refocus, you're having to pull your attention, and you're having to do that, and it's exhausting. It's like all this emotional baggage on you, and you're having to do what everyone else is doing. You're having to take care of the kids, go to work, meet for play dates, keep your house, you're having to do everything that everybody else does, but you're carrying all the emotional baggage that most other people don't have to carry. And that's exhausting. And that turns you into a monster. Being tired leads to being cranky, leads to being acting like, a monster. And then you hate yourself even more. And now, and then you get more hopeless. And then you start worrying, you start wondering, why is life like this? Why am I like this? What is this all about? I just wake up every day, struggle to do the things I want to do. I'm not being very successful, and it hurts. And then all the other thoughts start coming on. Maybe my kids are going to be better without me. Maybe I'm just going to hurt them. Oh, heaven, God forbid my kids become like me. And, what if they start doing what I'm doing? And that leads you to a spiral downward, which is more painful, which then turns more into wounded mama bear. And now we've got depressed mama bear and anxious mama bear on top of just wounded. Because that's what happens. The emotional wounds start. And then on top of that, we have all these other things that start layering up. And this emotional wounds are the heart and the core of depression, anxiety, and trauma. And so but they're like, that's the cut. And then we got the infection. And then the results of the infection is like the symptoms, the disorders, all that stuff. But it all is this stuff. And your brain's ready to heal that at any time. Let's do that. Okay, I want you to focus on that. Heal these emotional wounds, because what we're talking about is healing your heart. You you have to go, and you're supposed to be putting your heart into everything, but your heart is cut, scraped, wounded, bleeding. It's tender. Anything that touches it, it radiates pain all the time. You're supposed to go and you're supposed to just be so, put your heart into it. Let me tell you what's happening. You're not putting your heart into things. You're terrified to put your heart into things. You don't know who's going to reject you, who's going to hurt you. You don't know where it's safe to put your heart in. You don't know what is going to go on. You don't know who's going to betray you. You don't know anything. And you don't know who's going to be able to hold your heart your fragile heart in a safe way for you. So you can't go and even put your heart into it. But guess what? The brain isn't just selective. It's not like, okay, I'll give my whole heart to my kids and then I'll give my whole heart over here where I want to. No, it's like, I can't do this. And so guess what? You can't even pour your whole heart into your children, into those babies. And so when you watch yourself do that, then you feel like more of a monster, because now I'm not attaching like I need to. I'm being so mean. I see myself pulling away. I just want my children to go away for a little while. And these are the thoughts you have, which makes you feel more like a monster, right? And so it's just the emotional wounds. It's just the emotional wounds. And this is just about healing your heart. I don't know what happened to you, but it's there. And if you're acting like a monster, it's because you're wounded. It's not because you're actually a monster, right? The third problem is the third reason why this is emotional wounds turn you into a monster, because on top of all of that, you still have to look like you've got it together. Okay, that sucks. You can't even tell somebody that this is what's going on, because they're going to judge you. All these other gentle parents out there, they don't yell at their kids like this. And you read all these awesome books, and all your friends, and you're in this book club, and you're reading all the awesome books about gentle parenting ways, and you're going home and you're yelling and you're snatching up children. I don't know what you're doing, but I hope it's not getting that far. If it is, please reach out for help. You absolutely don't have to live like that. Okay. Now, but then on top of on top of all of this, having to get it all together, that creates more pain, because now you're lonely. Now you don't know who to talk to. Now you're terrified that you're going to be found out. Now you have nowhere to turn. Now no one wants to hear you, because you're supposed to be the strong one in the group. And you're not supposed to have any problems. You always have it together. And everyone expects you to have it together. They probably expected you to have it together since you were little, which, creates its own set of emotional wounds, because that's not right. Little children should not have to have it together. They should not be experts in the world yet. And so, here these are, these expected expectations, these unspoken, these societal, these family, the familial expectations are all on your shoulders, which just puts us back to, this is painful, this is exhausting. And here you go, you still got to look like you've got it all together. And let me tell you what, if you're amazing, like most of my clients are, and you are rocking, and you have done some amazing things in your life, and you're finding yourself at a point where you are just at the wall and you can't go any further because you are absolutely depleted, because you have emotionally bled out everywhere, and you've still shown up for your family, you've still given your best, and you're still wounded, and now you can't even recognize yourself, and you have no strength to carry on, and you realize that people need you to show up more, and you realize that I don't have it. Then it's time to really, it's right here. It's just emotional wound healing. And you take care of yourself first, and everything starts turning back on. And not only that, but you become stronger than you have ever been in your life. You become more whole than you have ever been in your life. You finally have a heart that is just healthy and vibrant, and people can touch it, and it's okay. And you actually probably even like it. And you're not worried about what people are going to say and what people are going to do. And you're not worried about all the stressors, because you learn how to work through those. You learn how to take care of yourself and keep your heart vibrant, keep your heart well, because that's what we're trying to teach our babies. So if this is what you want to teach your babies, you got to get this first. You can't teach them something you don't know about. And if you do try to teach them that, I have a video on that. Go watch that one. I don't know the title of it. I might find it and attach it here, but go in there and read that. That is not psychologically good for you to tell your children what you can't do yet, and you tell them and expect them to go there. I would even label that as psychological damage. I want to say psychological abuse, but I think that's probably being overly dramatic. But there is definitely psychological damage being done there. Go there. Be the healthy example for your children. Be the healthy role model, because that's what they need. These children do not need anything more than to have a vibrantly healthy mom. There is no better gift that they can have. There is nothing that can come at that child in life that they will not be able to handle and do well with and become okay with, and to be able to find themselves. Because if you can show them how to be emotionally well, they can learn it from you easily. Sometimes even without conversations, like they're just absorbing stuff from you. They have mirroring neurons in their brain, and so they're watching everything you do is firing off their brain the same way. So they're practicing what you're doing. That's really scary when you have an anxiety, depression, or trauma disorder. But it's really empowering when you're healing, because your children don't need you to be perfect. They need you to be an overcomer. And so that's really what I want to share with you today. And I'm sharing this with you because I want you to be done with, I want you to be sick and tired of this. And I want you to be moving on. I want you to be in a place, I will not live like this another day. I will not go any farther without a successful mentor and a proven program and rock this thing out of my life. That's what we need. We all need that from you. That's what we need. That's what you need. Heal these emotional wounds, because everything else resolves when you heal them, right? And guess what? You don't have to be some super open, vulnerable person. Most of us high achievers with all these challenges, we're not super open, vulnerable humans. Guess what? You can still heal. You can still resolve this stuff. As a matter of fact, you can do most of this work yourself with the right strategies. Okay, that's a thing. That's what I did, and that's what I teach my clients to do. I coach them through this, obviously, but it's a real thing. And then once you know how to do this, you can keep taking care of yourself for your life. And if you want to ever consult with a therapist to get another perspective, great, do that. But you can do so much of this work yourself. Okay, so that I just want to inspire you with that, and I want to challenge you and get you moving through. Do not waste any more of your time being emotionally wounded. You know that people go to the grave with their emotional wounds. Not you, not today. Okay, so if this is something you want to talk with me about, I am happy to spend an hour with you to help you get clear on what's not working for you, what you want to accomplish, what you want to see your life looking like, and then to help you create a plan to get you to your outcome. And so I will spend this hour with you. This is a free service I offer. I love doing this. I had like 6 of these already this week. And I every single time I'm on the phone and I'm talking to amazing humans, and there's a point in there, and I'm listening, but I have to tell you behind the scenes, there's a point that I'm listening and I'm just so grateful that I get to be with them, because it's just like, you can see everything starting to come together. And you can see, like, who would have had this conversation with them? Who would have helped them get to the truth? So I'm ranting, but that's the magical place that Rachel's trying to live in all the time. So, but yes, you can get on my calendar. You can book a call with me, grab a spot that works well for you, and go to rachelmcleod.com/call. And grab that spot. That'll take you to a questionnaire that just helps you and I get ready for our call together, and then we will dive in and get busy with those 3 objectives. So I look forward to talking with you, and I hope that you are hearing me. You are not a monster. It's just the emotional wounds. It's just the trauma. It's just the anxiety. And guess what? I have one client who cried, thanking me and telling me, she said, I am so grateful that I didn't have to relive my traumas in order to heal. And that's the truth. You don't have to relive your traumas in order to heal. You don't even have to talk about your traumas in order to heal. I have clients that I'm not going to make them talk about what happened. Don't get me started. I might have to do a video on bad therapies for trauma. Okay, in the future, ladies. All right, so I will talk to you again. If you have any questions or want to talk further about what I'm putting out here, you can go ahead and send me a comment. You can PM me. You can grab a spot on my calendar, and we'll talk then. Take care. Bye.